holiday today. So there, I am good. Everybody else is sleeping. Oh, which is good because there's like 700 million feet of snow outside, and nobody wants to go. Oh, people are apparently trying to drive around in it. Seeing there's a lot of people out there already talking about slipping, sliding away in the word, like that. Unpleasant. But for me, I'm just looking out here going, well, that's a lot of snow. This last snowstorm really does have the hallmarks of a marked snowstorm. So a lot of wet, heavy snow. And it is super, super bright out there. Which is one of the reasons why I have to turn the camera's exposure rate down, which makes this really, really fun. Like that. So, well, you're late, Greg, because I already explained why I was late. You didn't show up. Right. Like the wall of light right now. So bright. So much snow out there. Everything is just white. And the sun is shiny and bright. All right. So we were working in here. I was working in this scene, and then kind of, I don't know, kind of annoyed by it. Well, I don't work on it anymore. Not necessarily true. Just sort of true. Yeah. So. I don't know if I like the beta particles, but they'll probably change that at some point. But okay. I don't have to worry about getting to the skateboard sequence. Like this bar. With this new layout, it's actually a whole lot easier to see where we're feeling what we're doing. Because what I really now have on this setup where we were talking about really just good morning, friends, by the way. We're just prepared this week. We're waiting. I'm not station. I actually think really well. Really well. think it'll be Good morning, Ron. How are you doing this morning? How are we all doing this morning? I saw a post from Jerry saying he was at work, but it took him forever. So I'm not 100% sure we'll see Jerry this morning. Maybe struggling at work, trying to get everything done. I'm tired. Not tired. I'm sleepy. I actually got to sleep in. Amazing. I usually get that time. Someone who suffers horribly from insomnia pretty much indulge myself. I won't sleep in as well. Get as much sleep as I can. Won't be able to do that. I'm working on that right here. So, also, one of those I hate getting older moments. Like now it takes a lot of effort in the morning to get organized. So I've got to make sure I take the pills, and I've got to make sure I make some good food. I can't eat pills without food. And I have to go through and scrounge up food. It's like, so, I've been up for about 30 minutes or so, but it's still kind of like, it took me forever to get to the point where I was awake and moving, and get all the things done, stuff like that. Yeah, it's so irritating. That said, I was reading on Facebook this morning a story from Eric Stillwell, who's one of the staff members on Next Generation, and he was talking about the season 2 episode Shades of Grey, which is such a obvious clip episode, and I knew at the time there was a writer's strike going on. And I didn't know, because my mom was part of the industry, so she was a producer, and so she knew about it, and she knew that the strike was going on and stuff like that, and so I knew that there was a strike, but I didn't realize that they had picked him, and it was like his first real job was Star Trek, and that was kind of cool. So now the next time I watch that episode, as bad as that episode is, I'm going to go, "Aw," because it'll be like, this is Eric Stillwell's first episode. Because he was a production assistant at the time. That's the last episode pretty much of season 2. Like, really close to the end. I think it was like episode 22 of season 2 or something like that. But Riker beams down to a planet and gets zotted by a plant and goes into a coma and spends the entire episode having flashbacks to season 1, because it's not like they had a lot of footage to work with. But Eric Stillwell was the one who was sent into the booth to watch all the season 1 episodes, and find clips. Excuse me. So he was the one that was sent in to do all the clips, find all the clips for it. Thank you. Godzilla. I wonder. I wonder about something here. All of the Godzilla stuff was. The Godzilla planes are awesome. Okay, that's fine. The rest of the family is starting. Well, I doubt it. Seriously, I'll see hide nor hair of my child until afternoon. But still, it's funny. There isn't. Yeah. Well, and like Eric Stillwell was talking about, there was a strike in season 2. There were a lot of strikes going on in Hollywood during that time. Hello, Sign of Man. Hey, we've got a Sign of Man. Have a good day to you too. Yeah, we talked a little bit about season 1 and 2. There were a lot of strikes going on and stuff like that. Well, and Bob, to answer your question, because of course now we're doing the thing we were doing last night where I'm answering like 3 or 4 different things. This is issue 2, and it's not actually marked as issue 2, is it? We should give it that marking so that it says issue 2. Ooh. And then we can merge those two together. I don't think that's what the writer's strike was about. Was it? Okay. During season 2, I was 15. During season 1, I was 14. So it's not like I was, super aware. Season 1 strike was mostly like the censors went on strike. That's why we got that wonderful episode with them blowing up somebody. Again, still. So I don't remember a whole lot about what those strikes were all about because I was 14 and 15 respectively. And so, I would listen to what Mom was saying, and Mom may have been understandably biased. she was a producer and stuff like that. So if everybody was asking for royalties or part of the end result production, then mom would definitely have been part of the. I mean, I can't imagine why. She was a human being. She liked making money, so it's entirely plausible that she was on the. Well, we should have a part of this. You know, we should have a cut of this or whatever. So, I mean, I have no opinion, and mom is 20 years gone this last year. So, good morning, George. So, like, I'm never going to be able to ask her what the story was. I mean, heck, even dad's gone now, so I don't have either of them to ask. I have no idea. So, I say that with the I have no opinion on it, other than Shades of Grey was a pretty easy. It's not even food, weirdo. Weirdo. That's a weird little beast. Yes, you. You're a weird beast. Okay. Residuals and creative rights. There were, I mean, like, kind of trying to remember what was going on at the time. I do remember a lot of mom saying, hey, you know, we're going to work for scale on this, and they're going to make $1 billion, and we're going to make enough that we're going to have to work for scale again next week, you know. Right? Totally a battleship. The battleship UMC George McFuzzyface. There we go. I don't know what his last name is. Could be anything. I think Donald is really into George the Destroyer of all things. I feel like that's probably not going to be a very Unity name. It doesn't seem to fit the Unity style. Well, that's all things, right? All right. Getting back to work here. I think we've already done sort of an idea, rough idea of what we're doing with these 2 pages. She's skating along. And I kind of like the idea of something where it's kind of like this. You know, she's kind of got her eyes kind of going like so. And it's really close up on her here. And, you know, doing some kind of morning, Patsy. That's the fuzzy dude. George, but Fuzz Nugget. A different fuzzy dude. Wondering how Patsy's fuzzy dude is doing. Great thing. We were worried about you last night. Yeah. We have a cat who's doing the same kind of thing. She throws up all the time, but she's always thrown up. But of recent, she started these weird hacking things. I don't know. Old is a thing with animals, and it starts to get painful after a while. So I feel for you. Well, that's good. And today, moving around and doing things is good. Yeah, we were talking about this, and after you had left, we were like, I feel like the way that this stream is, it's really hard to read responses. Like for one, can't see this. Can't. He's only got one screen available to him, so he either has all of his drawing surface or he has the broadcasting system up. So he can hear, but he can't read because either he's either got restream on the screen or he's got his monitor controls. So he doesn't read what's going on over there until I say something like, oh, Patsy says hi or something like that. At which time he will switch screens and read what was on the stream. I have a number of screens, but the screen that my main screen's here, but my drawing screen's here. So when I'm drawing, I'm looking here, and you guys are over here on my side. Yeah, his new Wacom Cintiq. So it's anyway. I was feeling like we had, in the vagaries of transmission backwards and forwards on the screen, Bob asking questions and things like that, that it made it sound more cold and dispassionate because of just the chaos that's going on. So if it did, I apologize. If it didn't, then I apologize, but it's whatever. So I'm so that's where we were at that. Sorry if that came across weird. Also, social, whatever. All right. So we are working on scene 1 pretty much straight up here. We've got Oh, yeah, quite the contrary. You are always welcome, and you may, at any time, talk about what you need to talk about. It's absolutely acceptable. Yes, that's what's happening. Hey, you weren't hurting that. Okay, so what's going on here is this. Scene 1. Alex is skateboarding. No, don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm good enough at distracting myself. It's fine. And I am actually right now looking for something specific over here. I have a third monitor over here right? All right. Yeah, he's not on yet. He's, he can't. Here's the thought. This is a double layout. No. Yeah, I know. The funny part about that is I have 3 monitors and I consider this completely ridiculously excessive. And come here. You have to come here, though. You can't just sit there. Yeah. That's the rule. Then we can do the snuggle thing. So I've got 3 monitors. I've got 2 monitors right over here, and then this drawing monitor. And since I've reset everything, I actually ooh. Yeah. I wonder if I have that. I went over to look at the book. I went to look at the book. Why'd you run away? Because of being a weirdo. All right. Yes, I am mostly online. I am primarily online so that we can, so that I can have a reason to come to work every day, so to speak. Because being an artist is a lonely job. Not, it is a lonely job. I mean, this is a solitary job. This is something I do by myself. Like most people who, So I liked what I was seeing there. I don't usually have 2-page layouts. So let's talk about a 2-page layout, which I've never done before. We'll have to see. Right? That's totally where George... weirdly, George is not a lap cat, which is weird. As friendly as George is, he's still kind of anytime he's around people, he has to keep his legs straight. So he doesn't really sit in laps because he still feels like he needs to move when he's in your lap. So if he gets into your lap, he just stands in your lap. He won't lay down or sit down or anything like that. He has recently, and when I say recently, I mean the last week or 2 weeks, started getting into the bed with people and laying next to us, but he has to first walk all over us. That's the first important thing. So, oh yeah, you mean George Robert? Yeah. And George, if he gets into my lap, we got issues. I love George to the end of the earth, but not that much. It just happened, Bob, that we happened to bring up George Robert whenever we had George, the destroyer of everything, who jumped up right here and got me the camera. I don't know. Dude, you need much more beard. You need a lot of beard. A lot of beard. Yeah, right? No lap time for Rasputin. I'm gonna have fun with some like strange designs over here. Just be freeform. There we go. It's like the idea of a broken up layout like this. That looks cool. You know what I mean? This looks nifty. And you've got, we'll have her kind of standing to one side here. All right, kind of, she's standing here, looking out. I wonder if I've got any really good wide shots. I went and hung out in downtown Arvada, Old Town Arvada. Took a ton of pictures, and the primary reason I took all those pictures was so that I could have reference for this. But if I've already got the reference, I'll stick it in there, and at least I know what I'm doing. I'm allergic to snow. Samsung Gallery. Let's see. Got lots of pictures of George. Ain't you surprised? Virginia. Yeah. You're probably also allergic to snow. It is similar. Like all of those things, anytime where your brain just doesn't want to work with you on these things, that's typically where I like to go. We're all the same. I'm gonna say go. This is a funny inside joke from X Files of all things. Let's go into did I take and put these pictures aside? Because sometimes I'm smart enough to think to put these things aside. Completes Act 1, Military Ghosts, Pictures of Old Town Nevada. The folder is in. Yes, I should have known that was going to happen. Ah, I thought I had to. Oh, I didn't do the job. I didn't finish the job. That doesn't surprise me. Does not. Old Town is very picturesque. I love it. And I don't have to go there today. And I've got a great widescreen camera now. Whenever I deal with my phone has this wonderful widescreen mode, which is insanely wide and cool, and I like it a lot. So, all pictures here. Hello. There's been a lot that went on over 20, huh? All the things that went on during 2022. A lot. Yeah, probably. I think we're all roughly the same age, give or take. All born in the mid in the 70s, somewhere along the line in that decade. Definitely a deal. But these kids all grew up in the 80s. Donald. Yeah, you might want to quantify that before we all go, Donald, you're so old. Because you're not. You're with us. The same little group of people roughly about this age. Has it been a whole year since I've been out there? Can't imagine. Yeah, I guess it has. Yeah, Bob's got us some deep armor a little bit though. It's not that much. And we get to the point where we are where we are. And I mean the location that we are in life. The difference between 65 and 68 and 72 is small. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Like, my wife was born in 78. And so, it's one of those things. If I had met my wife in high school, she would have been in elementary school, and that would have been weird and kind of strange and kind of creepy. But since I met her well after that, when we were both in our 20s, then it wasn't that big of a deal. The age, and now the age difference is completely irrelevant. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't even make any difference. We have more discrepancy between the fact that though we are both of the same generation, her parents didn't want her to watch that much TV. So since she didn't watch that much TV, she doesn't really have much reference in Knight Rider and Airwolf and all those things that sort of marks the generation of the 80s, So like she doesn't know a whole lot about that. It's not that she's and watching Knight Rider now is a little uh, ugly. So
We're having a discussion about Donald and Neds, which is true.
yeah, that's actually why I started late today, Donald, was because I slept until like 9:15. And you know what? I was good with that. I was going to let myself just roll with it. Totally cool. Because I was okay with it. Wasn't gonna mess with it. Yeah, Night Rider's okay. I mean, I guess Night Rider's fine. Yep, I mean, I totally did what I said I was going to do. I'm just saying, I did what I said I was going to do. Don't think I won't. I feel like you might be right. If they were to do that now, yes, and I probably could quantify it. I'd say, though I'm talking nice, I just hasn't aged. Oh, no, how that goes, it just hasn't aged. Like,
doing this thing, and I'm like, I'm not 100% sure I know what's going on. Desktop? That one? Just like throw it on my desktop and go, here's a smart move. I'll put it on my desktop. What could possibly go wrong? It seems like a thing I might actually do. And then go outside of it. I feel like that's exactly what I would go do. John. More annoying I wanted to. Okay, so guys, one of the things we are going to start doing is back to Springs Mondays. I don't know if you guys remember, kind of pushed a whole bunch of stuff together, and started when I started moving into the. You know what? Hometown Arvada is not that far away, and I'm wasting an awful lot of time. And now I'm getting way sidetracked. There once was a time, long ago, when I was working on a comic called Springs. And then I have I feel like there should be a Buck Rogers commentary somewhere along the line from. I was thinking of that at some point when everything starts to come out. And we all know that Alex is not, in fact, from a Luddite colony on Moment, but rather is an actual human from Earth. I feel like we should have the infamous discussion topic of her talking about how she's actually from Buck Rogers, or she's actually Buck Rogers or something like that. These are all small size. Yeah, they're all small size. I need to. Boy, I am really feeling. How many did we do in 2022? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's not bad. Right? Well, yeah, Patsy, we will continue to go back to this. I don't know. I kind of like this one. That was really good. Just see here.
I was actually just thinking that Alex should make a commentary about two sizes of that. Um, all right. Anyway, so the I am I am having issues here on this one because I am so all over the map on what I'm doing today. But that's all right. I'm going to stay until noon today because I started at 10. So I'm only halfway through the show this morning, halfway through work. But now I'm like, what the heck am I? What are we doing? Who are you people? Um, anyway. All right. Yeah, well, I mean, anytime it's not snowing like the son of a gun, or there's not like, what do we have out there? It looks like a good foot of snow. Okay, Patsy, take care, and I hope for the best there. Also, just so you know, I'm going to get back to doing Springs comics this year. It's one of my New Year's resolutions, so we should be able to continue on with Springs comics. Complete flat layouts. I feel like that's the one, right? Re-upload. These are all resized. Why are these all resized? Re-upload, you can delete. Well, they're deleted. The secretary has no clue who you people are. I am having why are we having problems with this? Did we just decide that they weren't here, or what's the story? All of these are empty. Everything's empty. What the? Okay, guys, I'm having a moment. I'm very confused. Here's one folder in my personal drive. The artist. Springs 2022. Well, I'm glad you're here, Brett, because this is getting creepy. Here's the same folder. OneDrive, Guy the Artist, Springs 2022. This folder is empty. I see a bunch of Springs comics here. Did my OneDrive just explode? What just happened here? Oh, I'm on my desktop. What the hell is that doing out on my desktop? That's so weird. Okay, we're good. We're good. I must have I've had a copy of Springs out on my desktop or something. I don't know. I don't know. What? It's all good. We're fine. I'm not panicked. I'm totally fine. Oh. There's one for you. Yeah, springs can be full of stupid jokes, but it's fun stupid jokes. Okay, so these are not this. It is barely an inconvenience. All right. So, Brent, what you missed on this one was I'm going to get back into springs because we're going to try to get into the point where we can work on springs on Mondays again, so that there'll be Monday springs, which I think is fun. I like Monday springs. That was so. Springs Monday, we'll be back again. Because then I can, like I've said, at least then I'd have 52 Springs comics every year, right? Because that would be fine. And it's a good break, and it gives me a little bit of variety. And I'm going to try really hard to not. It only takes up one of the two shows, right? I mean, because it takes me about 2 hours to do it. And, part of the question, there we go, new book. So I got a complete set, small size, which is weird. And really, older. So it's complete set, full size. Now I put them in as they were originally. I know that these 2022 ones are full size. Those aren't. You. They're all different sizes. In 2021, we didn't do that many. We didn't do none. There were some in here. Yeah, I mean, my feeling on this one is. Here, I'll switch to the next one. That'd be fun. But nobody would get it unless they were here. Okay. 38, 39, 40, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. There's two versions of 52. Which makes me think, screw it up. 52, 53, 54, 55. Okay, who is of the correct size? Details. You're huge. No, you're not. You're just creepy. That one's weirdly broken. Dimensions. These two are the original size. Yeah. And nobody else would get it though. They'd be all like, what? I don't know. What are you talking about? 2020. Hey, one says 2020, or it says 226, and then it says 226 actual. What does that mean? It's so long now, I have forgotten what this all means. I don't even know. 230, 236, 614 repopped. Come out in a different location. Fort Cartoon. That's cool. Look at that. Details. Maybe? You're the only one that's a. Those that are at big size can actually just be easily. Here, I'll give you a new picture. Physical humor, always funny. Just saying. All right. 210. 218. Yeah. So what I'm doing, if you're wondering, is all of these in every year was put in. Oh, hey, some of the units right there original size. That's straight over. Every one of the years is pre-page. So the last time I did a book, I did this book, and I did a book, and when I did, I realized that some of the comics that I used in the book were really low resolution. So now I'm looking through stuff and going, why was I doing? Why? One of these guys. Did we do any comics in 2018? What's this? Steve the Orbiting Satellite, CubeSat. That's right. Steve the CubeSat. Steve the CubeSat was an interesting story. It seems like Steve the CubeSat was a thing. No, but And it's definitely true. That wasn't the problem. The problem was I could have used a better version of I could have used the higher res version and then didn't, and that was a problem. It should have. So it's not a matter of whether it was I had higher res versions of it. This never went anywhere. That's weird. This was right in the middle. Yeah, this was right in the middle of transition. So these pages are original printout pages. So these were the pages that I'd print right here so that I could take them to, at the time, we were all meeting at a Denny's to do drawing club. And so what I would do is print these and take them with me to drawing club. This is before the era where I had a working Surface to go with me. My Surface 1 had died at this point in time, and so I was still playing. The Surface 1 had given up the ghost, and so I was printing these back out again at Kinko's on 11 by 17 sheets, and then drawing the comics by hand and rescanning them in back there on the scanner, and then cleaning them up and doing all the color work here. And this is before I put in the XP pen, and before I have a Surface Go, which is brand new, and that goes with me everywhere. And I can do these at Starbucks, just sitting at a table with a coffee in front of me, which I actually rather like doing. I like going to Starbucks and doing that. The question really is, what's the resolution of these? This is 5100 by 3300. I think you are also 5100 by 3300, which means that we'll double check it. Which means that I can use. Come on, work with me here. Here's my mouse. Yeah, 5100 by 3300. Okay, cool. Which means that I don't need to move the PSDs over. Or I can move. And in 2017, we don't even have printouts. We just have these guys. So this is how it would go. For a while in 17, I still had an operable tablet. So we did these in the tablet. So these still worked, and I could do all this wonderful color work here and stuff like that. I really liked Don Q's newer cockpit in the front there. So that was kind of nice. I'm going ahead and move all of these guys over. 24. With 16. So for a while I wasn't doing anything very often throughout the years. We were doing about 5 or 6 a year. Oh, that's good. I can't even tell what this is. Where's the text on it? Is that on the blue line? No? Cool. We don't even know what I was going to say. This one's funny. Right. It's so funny. We don't even know what it is. Do I have a listing somewhere to tell me what these were? Hey, folks. Anyone want to hear what I'm doing here? It's been so long, I don't even remember what these are. We'll have to make new jokes about these things. I don't even know what these are. We got 17. This is 2017, so I don't even know. Yes, this is the other one, which has no background. Periodolia compensator. I don't know, man. Anytime I think that there's something that says periodolia compensator, that means something to the effect of it compensates for periodolia. Makes me worried that that's what he was up to. All right. What's poetry tell me? Nothing. There's literally nothing here. Nothing on this one. It's just bull. Boy, I sucked in 17, didn't I? Nothing on 4. And nothing on 5. Okay. So the only ones that exist and have are these two, which I'll move over and we'll figure out what to do with them at some point. What is old one? Okay, that one's cute. I like this one. Getting operating systems pushed on you is funny, apparently. Acceptably funny. Okay, there's a second version. Oh, okay, I like this one. So, just change the text. Make sure that the text is using the correct text. That's Rover. That's the name of the character, is Rover. And he's either a Mars rover or a rover or a moon rover. It doesn't matter. He's a rover. He does rover things. So 16 sucked as far as years go for comics, which is not to be confused with frickin' 2015 when I was actually doing constant work. So here's all of 2015 in constant work. So that's good. I have a service here for it. Let's see. Much like it. All right. So, at one point in time, these were made to be compatible with the with social media and not a comic strip, because I never really thought that I'd ever sell them or anything like that. Concept on, actually in a book on my in 2015. Printing a book was super expensive and very difficult and complicated. So, you know, so then we went into Columbia, which was a story that I really wish I figured out what to do with, but it's an old Clip Studio file. Here's me flying Clip Studio at some point in here and going, hey, check it, I got Clip Studio. And then I need to figure out what I'm going to do about the story of what in the world? 89G. Yeah. Well, and one of the projects, Ian was asking me last night, what was I going to do? At one point in time, Raphael and I were talking about having a Springs book as a solitary unit, just by itself, to sell through QuaCk, which is his little publishing company. And he would take the Springs book with him to conventions, and he'd sell it and things like that. And then we had problems with QuaCk. QuaCk kind of fell through, and that's not a problem, and it's totally cool. And I mean, not cool. It's not cool at all. But the point of putting together a Springs book started to fall aside. I really like doing the Springs. It's a good break from my super serious manga side. It's cute, it's fluffy. Usually I have more than enough angst towards, machines or things like that. And I mean, like, honestly, Springs is the perfect place for me to start making entire jokes about AI art and stuff like that. Like, I think it would be a good thing to make an AI art joke, because it's about time for that. So, so it's a collection. I've been doing Springs since 2000. So here's the story behind Springs for those who are the uninitiated and those who may be watching and wondering, what the heck am I doing here and why? Because Springs was created in 2000. This is me doing all of this. This is the end of it. All right. That's kind of cool. All right. These aren't. Okay. Anyway, so then we went on to Tamerlane at this point in time, and we went on hiatus. Okay. I get it. So in 2000, Sparky, or the guy in charge of Peanuts, Charles Schultz, decided to retire. After 50 years of working on Peanuts, he decided he was going to hang up his hat and retire. When he announced his retirement, I said, hey, you know what? I'll bet you I could do something like that. Because how hard could it possibly be, right? And so I went on ahead and started working on the idea of a comic strip, which was a bunch of robots. And I thought that'd be cute. It'd be fine. Nothing would be wrong. What could possibly go wrong, guys? So, hat or baseball, right? Yeah, I love this baseball. So I started that in 2000. Oh, I'm colorizing. Oh, hey. Hey. That's not a bad idea. That original comics. So I did what I called my original 313. 313 comics is a page a day if you don't do Sundays. Back in the 2000s, early 2000s, when you did a comic strip, you would do the dailies, but you wouldn't do the Sunday strip. And so when you began, if you were a newbie starting out, and I wanted to know with my glorious ADD whether I was capable of doing these strips on a regular basis. Was I capable of actually doing strip and making it work and not tripping out my own face and making it miserable? And I did. In February of 2000, I started drawing these strips just as Sparky retired. And I don't know if you guys know the story about it, but when the last strip of Peanuts was published, on that day, Charles Schultz passed away. So it was like, we really literally could not live without Snoopy, so to speak. On the day that it published, he just passed away. And leading, by the way, to my ongoing belief that the primary thing that kills most of us is not having something to do. That's like the thing that kills us. So it's a thing. Anyway, I continued on trying to do this and ended up with quite a few comics going on there. So, at the time, my mom was still with me, and I showed it to her, and she's like, "These are really good. Some of them suck, but most of them are really good." And I said, for a daily strip, I was kind of coming up with ideas, and she's like, "This is your first time out. You should really keep moving with this. Keep going. Keep trying to press on this one." So I did. And now it's many years later, and I still have only managed to accomplish really a total of about 259, which means that we still don't even really have a full year's worth. Of those 313, those original 313, I salvaged about 150 of them. So I've been meaning to, for a very long time, I made a book called Nice Use of Paradox, which I created and printed. But I made this book right here, which was Nice Use of Paradox, and I made this in 2014, thereabouts. So it's got the original strips in them. Yeah. But the problem with this book is it was just the ones that I had at the time. The good news is I had a falling out with the guy that I was working with at the time, and he's the one who printed this. And so, and it's cute. All of these are just cute and fluffy and happy and everything like that. But really, this book needs to be redone. For one, this is supposed to be blue up here, but it ran into that weird. For two, and it's hard to see, but the resolution level on this, and it is kind of hard to see here, the resolution level on this is really low. So much so you can actually see the pixels. I have a high resolution version and I have a low resolution version. And I was in such a hurry and I was going so fast to try to get that printed and rolled out the door that I picked the wrong set of comics. Moreover, when my wife went over the book, she realized there were typos and spelling errors and things like that that were silly to have published. So the goal here today is I'm going to pile all of these into a folder over here, and we're going to look through them all. And every Monday throughout the next year, when we do a Springs comic, we'll do a new Springs comic, and then we'll page set a couple of the other Springs comics, look through them, make sure that they're not spelled improperly, things like that. Just clean them up and set them up. And that should be just fine. Like, I don't even know. This is o2.psd. We don't even know what that is. Empty. It's an empty one. I think at some point in time I thought it'd be a clever idea to just set them up early so that they were already rigged. So, re-upload, you think it would have before one contains re-uploads. Are these at high resolution? Yeah, okay, so here's a great example of this. That's number one. This is the first strip in Springs, right? This is the high resolution version. This was not the version that ended up in that book. And you can see we can get, I mean, it was a long time ago, but and there are some errors to it, but gosh, we can get right up on it. You know what I mean? So these guys are my originals. Oh, they're all laid out properly. All the way up to 209. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this guy. Oh, in here. I mean, they're all in here. It's like, this is back when AR looked like that. So I originally was going to redraw all of these guys, and then my wife said I kind of like whenever I see people and how they evolve and how the animation and drawing has evolved. Right? I mean, these are the ones from 2000. This is from more recent. Right? So it's been this is in 2013, right? So we go from here, and that's Don Q, to here, and that's Don Q. You know what I mean? Like, it's howdy, Andrew. Looking. So we get quite a bit of a jump here. This one's a low res though. Why is this one so low res? Go hunt this guy down. In 2013, I had just been laid off and I was trying to find another job, and this is totally my life. Like, I would write, cover letter after cover letter after cover letter after cover letter, and it was just so brutal. Oh, yeah, here's where Rover comes from. So yeah, good old Rover. Rover that just sits there and says, "Ping," and TV understands him because he's seen Star Wars. So, yeah, actually, this was a cute little thing where Ping came, or where Rover came from. So I like it. Okay, so yeah, these guys could probably be recovered and just moved straight over. They're already set up for this to set. That'll close. Should give us a pretty decent shape. And noticed it smells like to resize. How you doing, Andrew? We are repairing springs. I got like a couple of things which are cool. I like this one. Cool. All right, now we're doing it. I won't get lost in it. Like I said, we'll do this on Mondays. This will be Springs Monday. Springs Monday means that we get to mess with springs. Man, every time I look at this, I think of this where I'm like, wow, sold 53.52. I mean, like, that's a haul for this little guy. He did good. I won't get lost in it. I appreciate that because yes, I will get lost in it. We also need to make the 2023 code. So next week. Set up for that. I'm not weeping, but I mean, I think they're pretty cool. This looks solid. Ooh, doggy. You are a big monster. All right. So these are the master pages that I use. Is the music starting to the I've got to get away, I've got to get away. Hey! All right. Yeah, so this will be I'll set my pen check. Don't worry about it. Now I've got to. I keep wondering why they don't have windshield wipers on the solar panels. That's the thing I've never understood. just a pair of windshield wipers. And I guess because it'll ultimately just make mud, but I still kind of wonder why, why, or a brush. Why not just send this up with it? Just put it on a little arm, and here's the panel, and it just does this, and then does that. You know what I mean? Like, give it a little bit of English, so it goes whoop, and then goes back, goes whoop, I guess their thought is at 5,500 souls, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. I guess is my thought. What brush are we set at? 80? I don't think so. It should be 25, right? Yeah, 25. 20 at tops. That's a lot of control I don't need here. Yeah, 20. Except that it needs to be thicker at the start. But, set the pen for 25. Right. Number off of here. Just remove it straight up because it never works. The number never gets remembered. So now we'll go in for Arial. Click there. And I should have done this before. 0, 0. Actually, this year is going to start at 260. And hopefully, we will continue on enough that you'll remember it or whatever. Let's say as, and this year we'll just make this Clip Studio document, not even master, or not even master. Part of the problem is we're loading it straight into Clip Studio, and then all the process that we go through for all of these things, it makes no sense. So, yeah, I think it's probably a weight issue. And I mean, you get down to the point where when you're in interplanetary space, even the weight of just this thing is too much. So, since this guy's got I don't figure I will do a lot of serious stuff over the next 2 weeks or next week or so. Weight and practicality, probably true. I'm gonna get to 1,000, but hey, there can always be hopeful, yeah. Always hope. Hope springs eternal. Make it so they can read 4 characters, but haven't exactly. We're gonna cross into 300 by the end of this year if we make one a year or one a week. We're supposed to. So let's see. I'll save and. Probably ought to start. Okay. That was good. The year is almost over. That's why I'm prepping up for Springs. I'm going to actually try to do a Springs comic every Monday. Springs Mondays were good starts for the week. It made me feel good. Made me feel like I was doing the right thing, getting the right thing going. That kind of stuff. So, that was a good thing. Yeah, I do mean the end of the year, whatever year you want to call that, however you wish to put it. I've had days like this. I actually like this. It's good. Lots of good wreckage everywhere. All right. You're the best. Ever was. Good work. Get 40 done. Just in the next couple of days. That's all you gotta do. It'll be easy. Maybe we can do it. Barely an inconvenience. In the meantime, you get a visit. Totally. What we need to do. You're like, more scritches. Dad jokes are so easy. Dad jokes are easy, right? You do that. You do that. We'll play this game. We'll play this game a lot when we play this game next. Okay, so I actually have this one. Sometimes I just like to have fun with just the whole concept of things. Yeah, little things could be cleaned up like this. Looks like it's got some kind of weird commentary going on over here. And I wonder if I could pull the master up on this one and clean up the background so it's just one big, not without all the social media stuff on the bottom. In the duration of the show, looks like we've gotten a complete melt of the snow on this side of my deck, and this side's starting to melt away through. So, see you later, Andrew. Thanks for joining us. All right. Now there are 347 items in here. One of the things. I'll see you later, Brent. We'll be on tonight. One of the things that I think I'm going to try to figure out is what is the format of these pages? And that's actually, I think I was out on here. out on that, out on my desktop, the old desktop. That's why I freaked myself out. I was like, what am I doing? Because Superior POD does 8.5 by 8.5 books, and these are the masters for that. So I'm thinking yeah. They have these guides for us. Yeah, it's almost time. We got about 15 minutes and we'll pull up the 10 pegs and we'll move on to our own life anyway. I've been out here for an hour and a half. We've gotten some good, interesting stuff. At least one of the goals for 2023 for me will be to finish this book up and complete the layouts so that we have all of them on there and stuff like that. And that's it. Time for us to move on and add Superior POD. Superior POD is a printer out of New York. They do a lot of good stuff, and I like working with them. The biggest problem I have with them, because they do card decks, that's another thing I'm thinking we might want to try to get going, is the associated pieces of Bellatrix Rising in 2023. I have a card game that I want to do with Bellatrix Rising using the universe, and a role-playing game. The card game is far along. It's quite a bit far along. Let's find books. 8.5 by 8 years. By the way, none of this is going to be done tomorrow. I'm just saying, last night Can started making me think, what do I want to do with 2023? And I think one of them is, Springs just needs about 6 or 7 hours of love. You know what I mean? Like, we just need to go in there and just kind of just work some of these things and fix some of these problems and get some of these figured out and squared away. And that's all we really need from Springs, and it'll roll out just fine. So, like, I don't know why I haven't done it. I don't know what the story is. But whatever's the story, we'll do that. We should just do that. That seems like an easy one. Large tablets. Those. That's, I think, one of my big goals for 2023. And we will probably make a full set, or a full set of what our goals are in templates. I think what we'll do is we'll get to that. I want to state the goals on the January 1 episode of this. So next Monday, where I have next Monday I'm supposed to go out and shoot a house. So I may not have a January 1. The first January 1 episode might be Monday night after Geek Day, which would be fine. motivation's not really that big of a problem. Oddly, because I'm here 4 hours a day, and you guys are usually with me. You guys can keep me to it. You know, like Brent holds my feet to the fire a lot, and you keep me on task as well, Bob, and and stuff like that. And even when you're not here, because you shouldn't be obligated, you shouldn't feel obligated to be here. You should be here because it's fun and entertaining and have great discussions. I appreciate that. But I've been focusing on Bellatrix Rising. We're not going to focus a lot on Springs, but I do have two properties. Technically speaking, I have two properties that I have always used, or I've got two properties. And I shouldn't let Springs die. I like it quite a bit, and it's very useful and stuff like that. So, okay. Flips to 15. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Other side. Paint. So we'll take these two. Say is you're fine. Usually my biggest problem, Bob, is that I start to burn out on things. And that's what's kind of happening right now with Bellatrix. We've been working so hard and so intensely for the last few days that I'm trying to switch gears a little bit and work on Springs a little bit, which is exactly what Springs' job is. Legitimately, that's what I mean. Of recent, it's of recent. Springs has been very much and I've talked about since about 2015. So for the last 7 years or so, Springs has been the break it up so that I'm not hyper focused, because I can only do hyper focus for so long before my brain gets burned out a little bit. So the good news is, the good news is that the card game is waiting for me to have sufficient models of spacecraft ready to go so that we can make those cards in the game and characters and stuff like that, which is no big deal. It's not a major issue. So, your So, yeah. Anyway, biggest thing is that as long as I don't start flights of fancy out in the nowhere's land, like what happened just before or just after Mid-Journey came out. As Can and I spent like 2 entire episodes just screwing around with AI art and just like generating crap all over the place. That was a complete and total derailment. That was probably not on target. But thinking about this like you'd think about a business, right? Like you'd think about work. Every so often the employees just go right off the rails. And that's okay. As long as it doesn't stay that way, from a business point of view, we're okay. So, thinking about it from that sort of business point of view of, now, wait a minute, were the employees doing what they were supposed to be doing, for the majority of the time? Yeah. Yep. The other thing we have to finish is the projects that are on the plate. We have two projects from outside. We've got two projects that are coming in from outside that need to be worked on. One of them is Airship 27, and one of them is for my friend Fred, who is trying to do a role-playing game and wants me to do all the artwork for his role-playing game. And I've gotten a lot of his artwork done, but he needs more. So those two projects also should be wrapped in 2020. I'm going to write all this because I'm not going to remember to say. What are we doing? It was a plan. I'll be like, it was a plan, and it was a good one. Good plan. He and I were talking about the idea. That's it. Conventions, getting back out there and being on the floor. I'm okay with that. I like that idea. I think being on the floor. Fun. Very reasonable. Okay. 2023 New Year's resolution. Okay. Airship 27 has two projects that are probably one that I'll be doing. Silver number 2. Airship. I'll bet you I will get silver number 3 as well. Silver number 3. Fred RPG book. Let's get that thing done. And then episode 1, Momentary Ghosts. Issue 2. 1, issue 2, or issue 3. So, Airship 27 is they are pulp. And so they're a pulp distributor. They distribute pulp stories. That's their shtick. They're really into it. They think it's cool. I don't blame them. I think it's pretty cool too. So what they've got is they've got this sort of following where they've been doing sort of a pulp thing where they kind of like if you think of the old Buck Rogers from the 30s, the radio stories from the 30s, that kind of stuff. So they've got a bunch of authors who put together pulp stories, and they do them in the format that's very much like the old Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys, where it goes about 20 pages, and then you have an illustration plate, and then you go another like 40 pages, and you have an illustration plate. And so I'm one of their illustration plate people. I put in illustration plates. And recently they've hit me up for a couple of covers. It's not paying a whole lot, which is fine. I'm totally cool with it because it's good exposure. That's Ron Fortier. Ron Fortier, you'll hear me talk about Ron from time to time. Ron Fortier wrote a lot of the Green Hornet comics in the 80s and the 90s. He wrote some of the Terminator comics. teamed up with Alex Ross, stuff like that. I mean, he's had a long and illustrious career, and now he likes running this little pulp thing. This is every month I will go up to Fort Collins, and we have a little meeting, and we all get together, and we coordinate projects and make sure that they're going. I'm in the middle of Silver Pentacle 2. I did the illustrations and cover for Silver Pentacle 1. Yeah, I mean, like he's been, that was what he did in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. That was mostly what he did. And then 2000s, he started to retire and come out of the business, and then decided he didn't want to retire. So he stayed with this, but he started his own publishing company. And so now they do these pulp things, these pulp books. And so that's what happens. So you got these pulp books going on. And Ron and I hang out every month up in Fort Collins, and do, we get together and we see where we are on things. He's been, really supportive of me moving forward with my comic and actually making prints. He's kind of the one who's got me thinking more along the lines of doing print runs instead of doing the traditional print runs, because for a while there I was doing the thought process that the thought process that we were pretty much out. Print was dead for a long time ago. And then I met Ron and we hung out and we got kind of connected, and we've been doing stuff like that for a while now. It's been a couple of years now that I've been working with Ron. So initially, Ron wanted me to do a different story, and I didn't get to it because I was in depression and I wasn't moving forward and I wasn't getting stuff done. And that was before I started doing this, the accountability show, which kind of gets me to be working every day. And I was just kind of spinning out. Now I just keep working. I got stuff to do. So we are at the end of the show. It's noon. I can hear that my entire family is now up and downstairs and moving around. And I'm thinking I want lunch. So I'm going to do that, but real quickly, I'm going to finish these things here. Let's do Springs book. Right? And this is what I'm going to do. We got 2 Airship 27s, the RPG book for Fred. Let's clear that out. It's only been on my to-do docket for 4 or 5 years now. These will continue to improve. Springs book. I think that's a pretty good layout right now. I'm going to talk about the idea of potentially episode 2. Also, we've got a couple of other things. The Omake books. There's a few Omake books that I can do. I love it. That's good stuff. So there's a couple of Omake books that we can do, and I think that will be good. We've already got one 90% through, so that should be easy to roll out. And we got another one that we can do pretty quickly as well. So there we go, guys. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and especially thanks for keeping me company. I really need that from time to time. I just need somebody. I do just fine with just me here, but it is nice to have you around and talking to you guys. I appreciate it. Especially Bob, who's been talking all this way through here on all of this. So some of your Omake of dubious worth might actually be fun. You know what? I was going to show you that because it was cute and funny. Let's do that real quick before I go. I have, because it's funny, when I go into my art, Where is it? Because I've got my sorted art. Sorted. It's so sorted. Because this was cute. I was figuring, I was working on something that I thought was adorable. And when we were doing the original Tamara back in the day, I had this one. So that was really fun, right? So I was playing around with the idea. You're back just in time for me to close the show. That's all right, Andrew. You'll be back again. I was playing around with the idea of sort of a more adorable, floofy style here. Right? So, and there's this page, which then had this page. So it's a thing. It was cute. Just addressing your statement about funny omake, Bob. I had done a funny omake version. Laundry waits for no man. I'd done a funny omake version for Tamerlan. So I am not, in fact, above funny omake. All right. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go get lunch. I can hear my kiddo is moving. My wife is moving downstairs, so we're gonna go do the lunch thing. I made burritos yesterday, so I'm looking forward to making some more mad burritos this morning. I don't know. The roads are looking like they may actually clean up a little bit. One of the things we want to do this afternoon, and the family was going to go hunting around for musical instruments, because one of the other things that we're doing this New Year's resolution is I'm going to start trying to practice my violin, and actually we're going to try to do stuff together as a family. That's part of our New Year's resolution, is to have a family band night on Wednesday. Because my kiddo is really into band and music, and my wife really kind of wanted to pick up bass and figure out how to play bass, so she thinks that'd be fun. And I have been trying to play my violin for 60 billion years, and it's electric, so I'm just gonna hook it up to a distortion pedal and have lots of, instead of sounding like I'm killing cats, it'll sound like I'm killing cats from hell. So yeah, that'll make it a little different. Always fun. In the meantime, I am out. I will see you guys tonight, and as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye bye.